but you ask for this or something better.
That's beautiful.
And when it's better, it was worth waiting for.
I will remember that.
Intergalactic beings of multi-dimensional realities. Welcome to channeling.
My room is getting full.
Yeah. It's pretty vast, Maureen. That's vast.
Yeah.
I am excited for all you who are here who are in support of this sharing that we will be doing in Welcome to Channeling. And our purpose being to open people to all that they are, to know that they are not alone, that we are here together. And so we open this episode of Welcome to Channeling with Maureen Kelly. Take it away.
Hello.
Welcome so much. I'm so thrilled to have you, Maureen,
Thank you.
as a guest on Welcome to Channeling today. And I was able to be put into contact with you through our friend Peter Dennis.
Yes.
And he has been a champion of people learning the ways of channeling. And really simply put, he says, anyone can channel, but are you just ready for it?
Well, there may be a few people that totally can't, but
Yeah.
they're just on a different path. But a lot of the people coming up today, and with all the earth changes, the energy has changed. So people can now get into channeling if they want to, because the energy is shifting all the time. And so they're not blocked like people were 100 years ago. There's no blockage.
That's
And
right.
They can do it if they want to.
Yeah. No, I love that statement. I'm going to pause right here for a second. I'm just going to make an adjustment. I just want to show you, if I go like this, don't worry. That just means you're highlighted.
Uh-oh.
Hello. I'm going to switch things right here just so that I'm looking at you better.
Okay, I know what you mean.
And no, I totally get that. I feel that so dramatically. I think the past year and a half, things have opened tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
What I say is the veils are thinning dramatically.
Very much so.
And the opportunity that we have to really know within ourselves and have the experience that there is so much beyond this physical body is like increasing dramatically. And I think it's evident everywhere. I walk, I speak to people, I'm just being bold, and I speak to people and say, well, I channel and blah, blah, blah. And, the response will be, oh, yes, I have a friend who's becoming a death doula, or, this and that. And so there's so many more people who can relate to the kind of work that we do now when we talk about channeling, when we talk about shamanic work, when we talk about going on journeys and so on and so forth. Like, people are starting to connect and say, yeah, there's something new happening, and we get to walk together through it. So I think it's interesting we talk about this because you, Maureen, you say you didn't really try to channel. It just kind of came to you. And so I'd love for you to share your story. And I just feel the connection of your guides just so strongly. It's amazing. I'm just like, it really takes someone special to have this kind of connection for me to feel that. It's really powerful and beautiful. So go ahead and share, how did you open and what was your experience?
Well, I've been able to read people and hear things my whole life, and I thought it was normal. I wasn't great at it. It just came. I didn't sit there and work at it. But one of the things I did do unbeknownst to me, was if I saw something that somebody needed to know, I would walk up and tell them. And I'm going, and I every time I did that, they always stopped and turned and listened, and my voice was always very soft. And sometimes they would take the information, and sometimes they wouldn't. Only one person never took the information, and she was pregnant. And I said, I think it would be good for you if you took some classes on C-section, just to be informed. It's information. That's all I was trying to say. Well, she had to have a C-section. She came back to me and she said, I'm sorry I got mad. I should have paid attention to you.
I can't imagine a child telling this to a woman who's pregnant. I can understand. She'd be like, what?
Well, I wasn't quite a child, but, and I just, and the quiet, and I realized I would get information if I was quiet. If I was out there talking too much and my energy was way too out of control, nothing would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of grew into it. And pretty soon I went to this little evening class that people had gotten together with on just spirituality and your guides and all kinds of things. And so very slowly I started to open up, but I never refused any information, even if it sounded really wacky, because I would sit with it for a while and I'd go, is that true or not true? What was this person? And then I'd realize that was their view on something, but maybe not mine. And there was nothing wrong with that. But I would take in almost everything that was told to me and then just separate it. And I think that was the whole trick, is never to get upset.
I think that's really important because a lot of people, you talked to me before about this, is that people can really get caught up. And I think if you think that what's coming through is the absolute right one view, then of course we can get upset. We're struggling and we're trying to fight over what is right and wrong. But if you're able to have that perspective of, okay, is that correct for this person or this view? What is my view? And not feeling threatened, like that you have to take on a view, but you can hear and then pass along what you feel is helpful. I think that's a great way of looking at things.
What is interesting is that my dad was always a very quiet person. I mean, active, but he never shouted or screamed. He was always quiet. And usually at the dinner table, not always, I would all of a sudden blurt out something. And I had I just sitting there going, I don't know where this comes. And he always looked at me and said, that's interesting. And he never corrected me, never. Mm-hmm. On saying, what do you think you're doing? That's not right. But he just said, oh, okay. Pretty soon he learned to listen to me. But he never told me that he was listening to me. But he would take the information in and then use it how he needed it. Mm-hmm. So it's always been that way. And then I just kept taking more classes and reading things. And as spirituality opened up. And then I thought one day I'd like to learn to be a medium. And I took this class with this, she's pretty famous. She's on YouTube, but I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. But what it did for me was it started to raise my energy level. Mm-hmm. That was what it did for me. And I could feel myself slowly changing. I wished it would hurry, and I wish I could actually do the mediumship, but that really wasn't for me at the time.
Yeah.
I just said, oh, well. And I just relaxed. I didn't get mad. I didn't go out and try to find another teacher. I just said, oh, well. And then I'll never forget this day. I was out gardening and I was watering, and over on my right side, it's always my right side, I said, Edward. And I'd go, what? Well, I'm going crazy. And it got closer and closer. And then I began to feel the presence of this being. Mm-hmm. And so pretty soon I sat down and I just sat here very quietly. Pretty soon I would hear him say something and I would repeat it, but it was very slow, very awkward language. But I kept doing it. And then I called this lady that I know is a very good channeler, and she really works well with people. And I called her and I said, you got to help me here. I'm not sure what's going on. So she explained the whole thing. And I got better at channeling Edward, and she told me, she said, Edward is so strong. She said, not all beings that come in are that strong.
Yeah.
And so then I started questioning of why did you come to me? He said, I've known you for eons. We were on the same planet together.
Yeah.
And I've been following you, and I was just waiting for you to get your energy higher so that I could come down and meet you. And you came up to meet me because it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, and then I'm kind of ignorant about all this. So I just nod my head and go, okay. I go, okay.
Okay. For some reason, that makes sense.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to react or how I react. So usually I just go, okay. And then I just sit with it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I never dismiss anything. And then I worked with her a little bit more. And then all of a sudden I got an email from Peter that this lady that I'd worked with, she told Peter to call me. And then we just started on this wheel of he calls me and I talk to Edward. And then he
Nice.
on his little show that he has. I'm in the book, or Edward's in the book.
Edward is in the book. Yes. Edward's in Peter's book. And I can't wait to read that because I've just gotten access, and I think it will be really fun to read his messages. But of course, we might be getting, some channeling today. So,
He's right here. He just flops in. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not work.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not work for me.
I can feel his presence. It's like you said, he's pretty wide and strong, and I don't know how to say it. Vast is the word that I would use. He's very vast his presence when I feel him, and it's affecting me because I'm very much I'm very much in touch with my body, and very much I feel and sense a lot of things, and so it's really fun to start really contacting so many people who do channel, and for me, feeling that physical presence that comes with it. It's just been fantastic. I'm just like, wow, this is so amazing.
Some people ask me, even Peter asked me, why is it just Edward? And I went, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do we have to have these superstars of the galaxy and all this stuff? So that's a mouthful. And I asked Edward, why just Edward? And he said, because I like the name. And why do I have to be anybody fancy? He said, I'm well known where I actually live. But he said, I don't need all those fancy names. I'm just Edward. And he said, I chose that name because you would understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. I would.
That's amazing. I know you've channeled some other voices as well, some other beings as well. And I know there are some beings who really are kind of very accessible, I think. And I think they're iconic. They're these masters that really have really big missions, I guess, across the earth. And a lot of people can touch into them. And I think that's something that I think I want to kind of make a statement right now and say, there are many people who channel Jehovah or, Mother Mary and other things. And it's because their presence is so strong and they're so willing to share, I think, a certain message with everyone. And I think sometimes when on the outside, for, probably when I wasn't channeling or officially channeling, I would say, whoa, they're channeling Jesus, like, what is this? Like, who do they think they are? Kind of a thing. And, as I've come further and further along and really opened up in my channeling, I just see like, the dedication and love that's available for us to contact and to open up to is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no quote unquote specialness really attached to it. It's really all about bringing the resonance, bringing the message, bringing the connection and awareness of our connection back onto the earth, I think. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that, Maureen?
Well, the earth is changing and the people coming in here are changing, and everybody doing their bit, even if they're mediums or even if they just sit and meditate and pray. They're all raising the energy of the earth. Mm-hmm. They're all changing. As you said, the veil is thinning. And this is because we've got about 10, 20 more years before the earth, the energy of the earth and the people of the earth will actually change. And it will be better, quieter. And everybody will be out there doing some kind of energy work.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate, but there will be people we have to wait until they cross over because they
Yeah.
don't believe this, they're negative, they don't want to do, but that's okay. That's okay. They can breathe in the energy that's here. And maybe when they finally do cross over, they'll go, oh, is that what it was all about?
Mhm.
And then they can change. So it's slowly changing. And I have found myself not using the word guide or spirit to someone unless I know them. But I will say, well, the energy is changing. And
Mhm.
most people will say, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I was with this group and they had like a church group. And it's a long story. But they said, why are you stopped coming? And I said, well, you're not offering me anything. I'm a channeler now. And they go, well, to each his own. And that was the end of the conversation.
I guess that's one way you can just cut things off when they're not accepted, is just
Yeah.
be outright and just say what you are and what you're doing. And I think that's funny. I love, though, you using that term energy. And I talk to people too, and I say, like, the consciousness is shifting in the world. Like, like people are wanting a different life than the old ways. People believe in different ways. People are wanting, love in new ways. And so we all can have different language, but I think we're all talking about a similar thing.
The thing is that what people have to realize, and even I'm working on that, this learning to channel and changing the energy is all over the world. We think, oh, we're here in the United States. No, it's all over the world. People are channeling and changing their energy and calling things different words now. And if you go to foreign countries, you'll find that there are channelers and mediums and meditators all over the world. And that's what's raising it. It's hard to get out of your own little block, your own little world, but it is all over the world. And someday it will be almost normal.
Yeah, it is. It's opening up widely. And I really wanted to ask you, you talked about raising your vibration and you talk about meditating and stuff like that. What were some key components for you in your raising of your vibration in order for you to meet Edward, in the way that you really made that great partnership, that great contact? Were there some techniques or things that you were guided to do?
I don't know about techniques because some things are so natural for me. I've been doing them since I was a kid, but I think the biggest thing is to not be afraid and always stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to help one person one time, and she said, well, there's someone here. I said, just relax. And she just froze up. And I said, you're in fear. This entity is not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Just look at the word fear, FEAR, blast it and take it away. Take it away. And then walk into a beautiful light, any color you want,
Mm-hmm.
and sit in calmness. Nothing will hurt you if you're calm. You get hurt when you're nervous and reckless and just jittery and everything else. And it doesn't matter what you believe. The minute you get into that state of anger and worry, especially strong worry and anxiety, it all leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've put this little block around you. Let it go and put a beautiful white light around you, a material that you like that's really soft, fuzzy, and warm. And you can just, I just want to stay here forever. If you don't want a material, that's fine. But I often put a white light around myself, kind of a gauzy material, and I just feel protected. But you have to calm down is the first thing and stay calm.
Yeah.
If you hear, let's say, a gunshot in the neighborhood, don't panic and start to hide and run away. You might want to hide, but stay calm and say, I am calm. It will be handled. It will change. And get rid of the fear. And you'd be surprised how you're protected when you do
That's
that.
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I love that. I think this staying calm, it's kind of an art. Some people, it sounds like part of your family inheritance brought you into that a little bit more, maybe through your dad, or maybe not. but you've been practicing this for a very, very long
Very
time
long
in your
time.
life.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I encourage people, if you're starting out and, you're facing these challenges, recognize that these things take time. And all of these skills that you learn, these skills of helping bring yourself back into center, feeling whole, feeling complete, and then opening up in that way, these are skills that you develop. They also are gifts that can kind of help be bestowed on you as you open up in faith. In a way, you can say, can you please help me feel my calmness? Can you
Mhm.
assist me in knowing my stillness? Can you assist me in knowing my peace? And these are ways that we're inviting in that connection, as well as we're developing the skills that we need in order to really do what we're trying to do.
I think the other thing is anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fear. Anxiety comes from fear. So you have to take the leap up to what am I afraid of?
Yeah.
And the other thing is when that happens, listen to your body. What is it telling you? That why do you have the anxiety? Why do you have the fear? What is it their body's trying to tell you? Or is it said, I'm running out of food. I have to go to the grocery store, but I don't have any time. Take the time to figure out your hours, your life. And maybe today you are not supposed to go to the grocery store because who knows why. And so they're telling you, anxiety, don't go today, go tomorrow. And it's just a matter of listening. I mean, that's simple, grocery store, and a lot of people don't listen. They just
Mm-hmm.
don't hear what the guides are telling you. They don't hear what their body's telling them. They don't hear that. Just whatever happens, you say, well, I guess it was supposed to happen. Now, that's not always true, but if you look
Yeah.
at it that way, at least you can put some kind of feeling okay about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was going to take a trip with some friends. It was just an overnight, and I began to feel very, very anxious. And I thought, this isn't right. This isn't right. So a friend called me and said, you're not supposed to go. And I felt like saying, how did you know? Well, it turned out I wasn't supposed to go. A bunch of stuff happened, which I won't get involved with.
Yeah.
But I listened to myself.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
yeah, you have to listen.
Listening is so important. This is many, many years ago when I entered into Buddhism. It was one of the key foundations that was a huge blessing for me. Meditating in the way we were, but also even now I'm kind of correlated to and I'm connected to something based off of the Pure Land. But we sit and we during Sunday, before we open the meeting to listen to each other, we talk about listening. And one of the things we say is listening is an act of love. Deep listening is an act of love. And that it's kind of this beautiful offering that we can provide for ourselves and for everyone around us. Because the deeper that we listen, the more we can see beyond the facades of that would bring in fear, that bring in the ideas of fear and doubt and all of those things. And so I think that's beautiful that we're bringing this up for people, that we can listen first. There are layers of listening. We can listen and we can hear ourselves, and maybe we hear our fear, but what's underneath that fear? Is there any way that we can find some sense of surety? Is there anyone that we can ask to say, can I hear the wholeness, or can I hear something else? Can I hear something that will help me handle the situation better? So we can ask for, I guess you can say part of our listening is we can ask for keys to help ourselves, I guess. And for some reason, that's coming through me today. I think that's so interesting. So this must be a part of the message to myself today.
Well, part of listening to the other person is, are they telling the truth? I don't mean they're lying.
Yeah.
But what have they skipped over to feel the truth? We all do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
And when you listen to them and you let them talk long enough, pretty soon the truth comes out and they go, oh, is that what was bothering me? Because we're good at, as humans, to stuff the truth down because either it's too hard to take or it's scary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when you listen to someone with love, you hope that they can finally get to the bottom of it and get the truth out. Because the truth is not as bad as what they always think it is.
That happens so often to me, these realizations like, oh, is that what I've been like having such a tizzy fit about? Like all of this stuff, trying to protect myself over that. Oh, just let me spend a few minutes with myself and feel maybe the distress and offer myself some love surrounding that. And maybe see if another view comes through, and it's going to be okay. But I think until you get to the bottom of that, a lot of times what can happen is there's a lot of pointing the finger at others. There can be a lot of loud noise, but I think the deeper and the deeper that you get, the more clear the voice is, the more perhaps simple of what it is. It's like, I'm feeling pain around this, I believe this and it doesn't feel good. So I think there's a beautiful art in listening that we can offer each other. It sounds like you've done a lot of listening, Maureen.
Well, Edward has taught me a lot. He's still standing here. Well, he wants to know if you want to talk to him.
I do.
Once he gets anxious about something,
I do.
I can't stop him.
I do. Let's jump in, because this is Welcome to Channeling, and I want to hear more about Edward. And so, Edward, if you have some time to share with us, let's jump in.
Okay, just give me a minute because I have to get my energy out of the way and let his come in.
Okay.
Oh boy, I am here. This is great. I've been listening to the conversation and it has been absolutely wonderful. Good to listen. I wish more people would listen like that. It would be wonderful.
Oh.
So instead of lecturing you, what questions do you have?
Oh, Edward, it is so wonderful to have you here and your connection with Maureen. The first question that I have is surrounding your relationship and how it has been developed and what it serves in this lifetime for. How does it serve?
You mean my connection with this young lady?
Yes.
Oh, she's not a young lady, but I still like to call her a young lady. I have known her for a very long millennium, but we have been on different planets. I have working with other planets. This is my first time on Earth, and it took me, I would say, quite a while to get used to the energy of the Earth, because each area has their own energy, each galaxy way out in the universe. They all have their own energy. And I was used to that, but I had to get used to the energy of the Earth. She knew I was coming. She just didn't know when. And being a human, she forgot about it. And that's fine. She could not have grown up if I was constantly around her. So I waited till she had time in life that I could talk to her. I am an Arcturian, so I am familiar with all the other Arcturians out there. We are all familiar with each other. It was not hard connecting with this one. She was so open, like a great, big, huge door, and she left it open so I could just walk right through. She knew what was coming. Maybe not in the mindset that you think of somebody being aware, but is more like a deep-seated feeling in her. And that's why she took so quickly to it. And it has been great fun. Any other questions?
Yes. The connection between you two, was this it was preordained or prearranged?
Yes.
And is there a specific mission concerning your connection?
So that she may take me with her, and maybe someday she can have a small group that would like to listen to the channeling. She did belong to a small group for a while, but it really wasn't going anywhere. She will be here to open up other people's minds. And just in what she says to people can change their mind. Just her act, her energy, how she moves can change people's minds. When somebody seems gruff, but yet they have done something for her, she always says, "Thank you so very much." Some people never hear that. She says it to everybody that she knows. "Thank you very much. You're very kind." That is a shock for some people to hear that they've been told that. That right there can make their day and change their minds. The act of kindness, it always works. And I have seen that same person yell at somebody else, but they never yell at this one. They always look at her like, oh my, she's so kind. So they always say, "You're welcome," and then they leave. So that in itself is a big change. But she will get better. She will be willing to do more. But you have to wait for the right time and the right space, and it will come. I can wait forever because I don't need to die. I can wait forever. And that's the fun part.
Are you assigned through different lifetimes with Maureen, or her, I guess, entity or form?
I know what you mean. Not here when she has been on Earth. No, I have not been with her. There have been other guides. And anytime anyone comes down here to Earth, they have lessons to learn. They have assignments that they have made for themselves. So no, they don't always get great guides, and they don't always get an entity. That is how it goes. But when she goes to other planets, yes, she gets training there. And I am there with her for training. Then we take our turns coming down here to the Earth.
That was my question, is that has she served you in a similar way as you serve her now?
Oh, you mean was I the entity?
Yes.
How can I put this? Not in the way that it is now. We have always been friends, and then we serve each other, but not in the way that it is now. No.
Perfect. I am curious about your Arcturian home. And my question is, if there were some beneficial lessons from this place, this home base, I guess I would call it, what would those be that you would share with us?
The Arcturians do deal with the Palladians. Now, the Palladians are more healers, and the Arcturians are more builders. We build spaceships, great big motherships, and we take care of things such as if there was someone that was going to hurt the earth terribly, myself and others would stop it. We would not allow it. So we are here to protect the earth as best it can be. And we do have spaceships out there. People do see us. And it's quick and fast. And some people look and don't see anything because they are not ready for it. But we are here basically to protect the earth, let the people grow into their energy, and we will be here to take care of them. The Palladians are a little bit more in the healing realm, but the two can work together very well.
Have your people inspired some of the buildings that have been created here on Earth at this time?
Some, we do not build them, but we put the idea into other people's minds. But we can always, or only, I should say, we can only tell them what to do when the material is available, such as steel. Long time ago, there was no steel. We had to wait until steel was invented. We had to wait until machinery was invented. Long time ago, you had rows of people with shovels digging, and that's all they had. Now they have these huge machines to move the earth. And so we could not do anything until they had the right equipment. Then we can put the idea into someone's head. Now, sometimes that person takes it and does a fantastic job with it. And they're always listening to who's telling me what to do. They will tell you they get the ideas in their head. Others are so egotistical. They do not care. It's all them. They build a building and halfway through it collapses because it was not paid any attention to. Or sometimes it burns. Or they do stupid things like build a house next to a cliff and then the house goes down. I mean, really? Can they not figure that out? But so it takes time, but we are here to help them build and share the energy and spread it. And sometimes it works very well. And there are mishaps, but that is to be expected. We really do not worry about mishaps because there is no death, there is no accident, there is nothing that went wrong. It was to be as it was. And we start over. Does that answer your question?
It did. It's really interesting to hear that phrasing of it is as it was supposed to be, or it is as it is. My guides have a similar outlook that they share with me, that what we might consider to be tragedies or mistakes here has often been decided upon being experienced. But it is our job to explore and to expand and to try new things and to become more intelligent as we do so.
An example would be, it has been a long time. Well, in your world, a long time. In mine, it was just yesterday. The, what are they called? The Twin Towers in New York.
Yes.
They thought they would stand there forever. And then when they collapsed and they found out how the tower was built and put together, then they said, oh, that was not right. That was wrong. We thought it would work. But when something hit it so hard, it could not stay together. And the way that they built these big, long steel beams, it did not work. And you will not find another building built like that ever again. So, and those people that were there, yes, 2,000 and some died. They were there to give up their lives. That was their job. They are all worshipped in heaven now as being brave. So when you have mass death, pray and say thank you to the people who gave up their lives to do this work, to build up our knowledge of what went wrong and what went right. No one dies. They just move on to another way. And then if they choose to, they can come back here.
That was my question, have some of those people returned to Earth?
I have not kept track. That has not really been real long. But yes, there are probably some who found a young baby not born yet and the right parents and the right siblings because maybe they felt their job wasn't done. But it was done. They chose to be in the towers when they went. They were, on the human side, no, they were not prepared. But on the soul side, they were prepared. But yes, some of them said, oh, I prepared for that, but I did not like it. I'm coming back. And some will say, I was prepared and I'm just going to sit over here for a short while until I can find out what I want to do. Each has their own way. But yes, some people will turn around and come back very quickly. Others will take 200, 300, 400 years to come back. They have choices, simply choices.
Many choices, it sounds like.
Many choices.
I had a question. You talk about the materials needing to be available for like the correct buildings to be built and so on. Do you, or are there those who assist in helping us to manufacture these materials or to find and discover the way to use these materials?
Yes, it would be the guides who have come down and are guiding maybe a particular person, maybe 2 or 3 people. And somewhere along the line, they knew where to get a certain soil, materials, and then they put it together and they make a brick. And they find out that brick is pretty good. Somebody, a guy put that in their heads to make it. Then as they found out, I can do better, I can do a better brick because they found other material. And remember, the very first were mud and straw, mud and grass. That's all they had. Then pretty soon someone took off, traveled somewhere and said, oh, I found this material, started building better houses in that area. You go to foreign countries and all they have are stone walls. That's all they had were stones. And they put them together. Pretty soon they found out that they could add this material that kind of glued the stones together. It didn't work real well, but it helped. So and it seems in human form it's taken a long time, but we see it as very quick, very quick. So that is how it works. An example, I guess, I was doing something else at the time, but Marco Polo brought back herbs, spices from the Far East to the peasants in Europe, and their food tasted better. That is a simple form of how you can go get something and teach others how to use it. And it's still that way today, where you can go to some areas where the people don't have the materials, they don't have the education, but someone may come in and teach them how to do things. So it's a slow progress, and that is how they still do it today. I guess the best way right now that is easy for people to understand is making new vaccines for viruses that hurt people. You can see them in the lab working. Oh, that didn't work. We'll put it away. Well, that didn't work. Oh, look, this method worked. How well did it work? And they build and they work. Can you visualize that?
Yes, yes.
That is how the earth was formed. Little teachings, little teachings.
Wow. One upon the next, or one with the next. I think it's interesting because you talk about that example, and it seems to me that really this progress of increased intelligence, the materials becoming better and so forth, it isn't kind of just willy-nilly, like there's kind of a purpose or an intention that helps lead it, whether it's I want my family to be safe or us to be protected or have more comfort. What would you say about that? Because I've really been investigating intention and asking questions and trying to figure out how that can work for my own benefit and bless me. Do you have any responses to that?
Yes. You sit down and you ask for guides that will help you. And guides change out throughout a person's lifetime. This one was trying to do something and it wasn't working, and she kept trying and trying and trying. She finally yelled, I want my guides to leave. You are not helping me. I need new guides. just blurted it out, no fear. She didn't care what was going to happen, but she asked for new guides and they came. And you can do that. If you want to keep your guides, but you need a specialist, sit down and ask. Just ask. Sit down very quietly and say, I'm working on this, or I need help with this, or how do I do this? Do I need a new guide to help me, or will my other ones help me? You would be surprised at how it works. And if you can, do your best to sit down and listen and feel and hear. This one sees things. She sees all of her guides. She sees the beings around her. She sees people on the street and she goes, oh my, they shouldn't do that. But it's not her concern, so she has to let them go. Listen to see if you got a new guide. You may get a name, you may not. The name is not important. You're not important. And ask. It may take a while to get a new guide, but give it a chance. But if you want anything, you have to ask. But you have to also remember that if you don't get what you want, maybe you weren't supposed to have it, or you will get it in another time. You can't always get it right now. You have to wait until the time is appropriate for you. And that is very hard for humans to understand. Be calm, wait. It is very frustrating, but you ask for this or something better.
That's beautiful.
And when it's better, it was worth waiting for.
I will remember that. It being better is worth waiting for, and it really is.
Yes. And it's all about letting go of the fear, all about letting go of the time spent worrying. This one is notorious for laying something down and can't remember where she put it. So she stops and she says, would you please help me find it? I'm not going to look for it. Would you please help me find it? And sure enough, she finds it because there was no fear in losing it. She did not worry that she says she knows it's in the house. Eventually it will show itself. So if you treat everything the same way, no fear, and ask for help, and you will get it. It does matter how you ask for the help. If you scream and yell, I want help now, I'm scared, but you won't get it because you have lowered your energy. Quiet, raise that energy, raise that vibration, and quietly say, I need this. I need help with this. Or at least show me what to do, or give me a new guide, or maybe someone you'll see on the street that you've met before and you talk to me, say, I need that. Oh, I can come over and help you. That can happen too. It is the way that you ask. And if you ask in love, you will get what you need. It may not be on your timetable, but you'll get what you need.
Sometimes I'm afraid of that maybe what I'm asking for is wrong. Does that make sense?
I would not use the word wrong. It depends on what it is, but you might say, maybe I'm not ready for it right now. But you can always ask. They'll either give you something different or you must wait. It depends. It all depends on what you're waiting for. And you have to have the patience, because the patience keeps that energy level up here. Keep the hope up. When you get mad and you lose patience, it drops. So you must stay up here. It is not hard to stay up here. You will find yourself, how should I put this, moving away from the third level of energy and getting to the fourth. And you're kind of in this cloud in between, and it's very comfortable. Very comfortable. And you wait and you ask. Sometimes you will never get what you ask because it was not in your Akashic records. It was not in your contract that you signed before you came down here. And you want to change your mind. I want the best, fanciest car. I want to pay $100,000 for that car. I want to be known by everybody. I want to be above it all. That's what you sign. You come down here and you go, oh, no, I don't want that. I just want a car that'll get me from point A to point B and drive safely and have good friends. I don't need the adulation. You have shifted and changed. So then you can change your story. And every time you change it for the betterment of you, it raises your energy, your vibration. Because now you are in the truth. Now you are starting to deal with the truth of you.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I'm seeing when it's kind of like we rewrite our story, and as we do so, the vibration of the new story places us in a different space.
Yes.
And we see more, and the things we ask for change as we do that. And then we can continue doing that. And as we step forward, it's almost like we're entering into closer and closer, more in perhaps alignment of our true desire. I think that's the journey that I see myself on. And I think right now I get to have patience that I am on a journey, and that I don't have to tell myself that there's something wrong, that I'm not already there.
Right. I don't think anybody thinks that they've made it. They're already there. They've made it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're going to go find something else that they want. And then if they get up there, then they've made it. And it keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. But is that their true self? No, that's their ego.
Yeah.
And the thing about, I guess I could say the thing about letting an entity in, your guides in, all these people in, is that you've let go of your ego. Your ego cannot work when it is in the light of all these beautiful entities. These people that are learning to channel, one of the things they have to do is give up their ego. Not destroy it, set it aside. And then let the entity come in. And then when the entity's gone, you can do what you want to with your ego. Do you want to put it back? Do you want a little of it? Do you want to start over? We need our egos. You could not drive a car if you had no ego. You have to be proud of yourself for getting in, turning on the ignition, and here's this noise in front of you. You haven't a clue as to how it works. Men do, boys do, but the average person doesn't really know. And you're driving down and you're proud of yourself that you're on the right side of the street and you stopped at the stop signal. Those are all egos that you're paying attention to the rules. And sports figures, they have tremendous egos. Their ego drives them to the sport and they win, but they do not let that ego take them over. They live with the ego to be able to do what sport they are, but they are also, they may not show it, but they are in gratitude that they have the physical ability to do that sport. And they are in gratitude, but their egos are always working to help them keep moving with that sport. Can you see that? Do you know what I mean?
It does make sense. Yes. It makes sense that there's a certain drive of the ego, a certain willingness to be dedicated to something, to kind of live out a story of success and succeeding, that I think it can be very helpful in some ways.
They can be very proud of themselves. And I totally agree with being proud of themselves when they have accomplished what they wanted to. Then their ego is still there, but it's not a loud, boisterous, ugly, shouting ego. It's a calm ego to say, look what you did. And the Olympics are coming. Look at that medal that you won. They are so proud of themselves. So proud. Yes, the
Mhm.
ego is there, but they're still so proud of themselves. And they are grateful. So it
Mhm.
depends upon how you use the ego.
Mhm.
So when you want to get into that other higher realm, you want to do favors, you want to work well, you must stay calm and push the ego aside just a little and let the gratitude come in.
Mhm. That's beautiful. I'm sitting here thinking about gratitude and the role it plays in my life right now. And for me, it seems that when I set aside all the story and when I offer it up, that's when I feel gratitude, when I'm just in simple actions of allowing myself to just do things that bring joy, that I feel it so strongly in my life. I feel gratitude, I feel joy, I feel the flow. But when I start bringing in all these ideas of, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this and that, and I'm supposed to be building this thing, and I need to be responsible in this way, things start getting weighed down,
There
and
are
I start
there
losing it.
are no supposed to's. Shoulda, coulda,
Yeah.
woulda.
Hmm. Yeah.
No. If it's not working, change your plan. Or calm down, slow down, or
Mm.
wait, or get a priority. What are my priorities? Okay, we're women. She's a woman. Take care of the house. Do you do the dishes first? Do you sweep the floor first? Do you do the laundry first? Do you mow? What do you do first? Instead of you say, well, I'll take priority one at a time and get it done that way, slowly, carefully, and then it's done.
Hmm.
That is how you take charge of what you have in front of you.
Mm. Yeah. In a sense, it feels like when I just do the task that's right in front of me and an offering, I'm not letting the whole idea of what the job is like rule over me. I'm just simply doing that one thing and then moving on to the next thing.
That's right. That is correct. Because then you are thinking more clearly. You have
Hmm.
focused.
Hmm.
And when you have focused, you are not in fear.
Ah. And it seems this is really interesting because what's coming to me as you say that is if I am busy thinking about what I cannot do at the moment, this creates static and and it brings the chaos and the anxiety with it rather than me simply being with what I'm doing at the present moment and being fully focused and dedicated, enjoying it, then that chaos, that anxiety is no longer present. I'm just simply being.
It's being, and you are relaxed. And the dishes in the sink will always be there. You don't have to hurry and rush, but you know what you are doing presently, you need to get done. And you do it quietly, effortlessly, with no fear, and you get it done faster than if you were in a hurry because you had so much to do. The project will become quiet and you'll get it done quickly. And then you can move on to the dishes in the sink without any fear.
Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah, I think that works beautifully. I
Yes,
think a lot of us are learning how to let go of the dissonance that can occur as being a human while being a human. So I'm I'm just going to let everyone know I'm going to place in here a little what's called a reboot, a little meditation surrounding some of that and what we can do. Um, it's it's a phrase that I've been brought in or has been brought in through my guides, and it's using the phrase "and that is perfect" to kind of dissolve these stories and these ideas, the resistances that we feel, and that we can just simply honor that all is being seen and known in the moment and taken care of, that all we simply need to do is simply be with it and acknowledge, even if there's something that we do not like, that we can simply be with it.
Well, you must recall that you have done something you think, oh, that is really nice. I will call that perfect. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. But what is perfection?
Yes.
And if you like it, it's perfect for you. And
Mm-hmm.
then you move on to the next one. How many times have people gone to galleries of art or painting or photography and they go, oh, I hate that painting or photography or that art.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody else comes up and says, isn't that beautiful? It's perfect. So it's in your eyes what you like. That's why there's so many variations of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what makes things kind of all work together in a way.
Yeah.
Because we have choices.
Yeah. And everyone's perfect can be their own perfect.
That is right.
Yeah.
That is right. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Will you please tell me, I'm so sorry, but do you know what time it is?
It is 6:02.
Okay.
So we will be finishing up here. And I just want to thank you, Edward, for being here with me, with us, all those who are here, and Maureen. And I will say thank you, and I'm honored, and I will allow you to then bring Maureen back.
And anytime you wish to speak with Edward, he is always here. He rarely leaves me. He's like a little puppy dog. I follow her around. But she is always here. I am always here. And I am very grateful that you asked Edward to come. You asked me to come. And I am talking in two different people because I am slowly slipping away. So thank you.
Yes, I understand. We're going to take a couple deep breaths here and welcome Maureen back.
Okay, doesn't take me very long.
How are you feeling there, Maureen?
I always feel energized. Always. Always.
That's beautiful.
It doesn't tire me out.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
beautiful.
tire me out.
Well, I thank you for sharing that. Are you really aware and can hear really well what he shares as he shows
It
up?
depends. It depends. Some of the information that he was giving you was for everyone.
Yeah.
But if you had asked a real personal question and we have to go deeper, I think we forget it because we don't need to keep that around. It's a personal question for that person. But if you ask some questions that were also generalized for everyone, sometimes I'll remember. Maybe 3 days from now I won't.
Yeah.
But for right now, I remember it because it's so perfect for everyone, so general for everyone. But after a while, that will leave, and somebody will say, "Don't you remember when you?" No. No, sorry.
I can so relate to that. It's so funny. My twin will bring up something that I channeled through in a book or something that I wrote, and I'll be like, "Really? Wow, that's awesome."
Yeah, the new generations coming in now, 10 and younger, they are going to be fabulous. You're still gonna have a few that'll cause chaos, but maybe the chaos needs to be caused to break up some stagnant stuff. But some of these young kids are just going to be amazing.
Yeah, I know that the younger generation are amazing and open and inviting in so much beauty, and it kind of floors me. So, well, thank you so much. Is there a way that people can come in contact with you if they want to speak to Edward, if they want to be part of the channeling group, if they want some, I would say, advice maybe or encouragement while they do their channeling?
Yeah, I don't have a website. I don't know why. I just haven't. But they can just call me through my email. Email is the best. I don't usually give out my phone number because I never know who I'm going to get. And the email, and I can always answer, and it's K, capital K, and then my name is Maureen. So it's capital K, Maureen, 840 @gmail.
Perfect. And we'll make sure to have that in our comments, and I'll try and put that below here so that everyone can see that. I appreciate you sharing your story with me, Maureen, and I look forward to having more contact, and we'll have
But
some fun.
anybody can text me or email me anytime they want. Edward is always here. Always. The only thing about being a channel is it's hard to get your own questions answered.
I can relate.
Because that is where ego steps in. The ego says, I want this answer. And you go, no, you don't.
Do you really want to know? Okay, here we go.
I have a friend who's she's almost a medium type person. She's an empath. And one time I called her, she was visiting me, and I wrote down a bunch of questions. And then I went to Edward, and then she asked the questions, because then she was talking to Edward, not talking to me. But still, it wasn't,
Yeah, it's tough. I'm constantly trying to address kind of love relationships with my guides, and I'm like, when is this perfect, whatever going to happen? And they're always like, and your partners that you will be so it's kind of funny, sometimes they have to wet your ears a little bit for you to really hear what they're trying to say.
Yeah, pretty soon you settle down, and you see, I don't have a whole lot to do because I'm retired, but when you're working like you are, then your brain does get full of stuff. And it's once you learn to separate it, it's not that hard. It's just learning to separate it, because when you've got 10 things coming at you at once, it is a little bit disconcerting to try to keep everything in order.
Yeah.
But it can be done. It can be done. But you must never punish yourself if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Never punish yourself. And if you don't know, you say, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for not whatever.
For not understanding or not knowing or
not getting the job done or forgetting this. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to forget your birthday. Maybe that's something that's important, or, your child's birthday, but that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different.
That's perfect. Well, Maureen, thank you so much for this time with me, and we'll keep in contact, and I just appreciate what you've shared.
Well, thank you very much. And, if you have a whole bunch of questions and people want Edward, Edward's willing to come back, if you get a whole bunch of mail. But thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I love that. If any of you here who are listening have a question for Edward, we'd love to collect them, and we can do another session with him, and that would be great. And also just wanting to let everyone know that at the end of this, there will be a link, and you can get a beautiful session of soul play, a little experience. I do what's called soul play. And so it's opening people to maybe a little journey or a soul song, something that's supportive to them. And that will just be a link available as well as I'll put Maureen's email for everyone to get in contact with her. So everyone, just sending blessings out into the universe and beyond. Thank you all for coming here to welcome to channeling, and we will see you next time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Click the link below to receive your very own free soul play meditation, reboot, or soul song.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Welcome to Channeling. Till the next episode, own your stage and play on. Hot Muffin Media.